Farewell.
Farewell, I'm bidding you farewell.
But Madam Marion, you can't leave us yet. There's still a sharpshooting contest. Parson Tuck, if we lose, the bank's gonna foreclose in the schoolhouse.
And I thought for sure that mask-on singer was gonna save the day.
No, Robin Hood got put in jail for robbing from the railroad tycoons and giving the money back to the farmers.
What do you say to that, Madam Marion?
Would you like us to hold our horses 1 second?
Hold your horses 1 second. I see someone taking aim at this here target.
But he can't win. There's already a bullet smack dab in the middle of the bullseye.
Why, he shot that other bullet in half.
No, not quite yet.
Why, he shot that other bullet in half.
Look, it's Rob Hood.
I wonder what face belongs to those lips I long to kiss.
This face.
Why, you're Alan Odell, that friendly lawman from the East I was so crazy about. I thought you were all done with us.
Not when I found myself home. A place where I belong. Keeping company with the people I care most about.
Well, you came to us as a stranger. You're into this place of crime, and you gave us new hope in ourselves. That's gonna be one tough act to follow.
Well, how's this? Will you be my lawful wedded wife, Miss Nancy?
Oh, yes, I will.
Yay! Ding dong, ding dong. Ding dong, ding dong. Wide open spaces, everywhere I look I see.
know, who kept waving her hands at me.
That was Sasha, our conductor.
Wide open spaces, everywhere I look, I see those wide open spaces where the future waits for you and me.
It's Kansas forever.
And wherever I may roam, I'll see those wide open spaces. I know that Kansas is home.
Shall I call a doctor? No, Boston Hospital's just down the road. Don't worry, she's got a pulse.
Well, that's the first time she's ever kept a beat.
Randy! Bobby, guys, can you help carry her?
Oh, why not? I've been carrying her all night.
Oh my God.
Holy Mother in Heaven.
Holy shit!
What? The reviews aren't good?
What don't they like?
That we put on a show.
The Boston Globe says, if you loved Oklahoma, then stay there as long as Robin Hood is running in Boston.
How about calls to mind Walt Disney's Pinocchio because its star is wooden, ought to be hung by piano wire, and swallowed by the first whale that enters Boston Harbor.
Who said that?
The Christian Science Monitor.
Carmen, you're the producer. I've sunk Master's profits from my Central Summers lingerie line into this show. There's got to be something in the papers we can use.
Let me consult with the writing team. Georgia, Aaron, does debacle have two meanings?
No.
Well, that's a shame. Critics who would make a living by killing other people's dreams. I mean, what kind of man would take a job like that?
What kind of slob would take a job like that?
Who could be mean enough, base and obscene enough to take a job like that?
Wait a minute, here's something in the Herald that might be good.
Formerly married composer and lyricist Aaron Fox and Georgia Hendricks provide film star Jessica Cranshaw with a star vehicle that ought to be driven off a cliff.
What kind of mom would raise her boy like that?
Who'd want her baby to destroy like that?
Who could be jerk enough, hard up for work enough to take a job like that? Oh, what kind of low down dirty bum? Oh, what kind of swinish scurvy scum? Loathsome as they come, I wonder.
What kind of man would want a job like that?
What kind of putz would squeeze your nuts like that? Who could be thick enough, mentally sick enough? Who'd want to grow to be everyone's enemy? Critics are hated and so excoriated. Tell me what kind of man would want a job like?
Hey, get a load of this. The Cambridge Patriot says, considering the talent and experience of the veterans involved, Robin Hood is sure to be a huge, Broadway,
Smash!
What kind of genius has a mind like that? So perspicacious, wise and kind like that. Far from his mother's knee, she must be thrilled to see how he grew up to be such brilliant company. Refined and reflective, we're completely objective, but it lifts up your heart to meet a man like that.
Yeah, that's all well and good, but the Cambridge Patriot is not the Boston Globe. The Globe is the review we needed.
Funny how none of the men from Jessica fainting.
She fainted during the bows, when the critics dashed out of the theater to dash off their postmortems. Face it, we've gotten our notices and we've been given notice.
I'm afraid you're right.
No! You two are just oversensitive because you wrote the show. This is just round one. The first musical my husband and I produced was savaged out of town. But we did a major rewrite, rolled up our sleeves, and brought it to Broadway. And that musical, my friends, was Kiss Me! I'm Irish. Closed before the audience could open their playbills. But the point is, this is a Sidney and Carmen Bernstein production. We decided it goes to New York, not Darla Grady of the Boston Globe.
So we're still shooting for Broadway?
Georgia, Aaron, you keep writing tunes that bounce, and Olive, you keep writing checks that don't.
Very nice, but until our leading lady gets out of the hospital, who knows what happens next?
They just have her under observation. I'm sure she'll be out in the morning.
Is there no limit?
Sounds like our director.
Is there no limit?
Oh, he got such horrendous reviews.
Is there no limit? I ask you to my unbridled brilliance.
Chris, where the hell were you tonight? I've put a lot of money into this show. As our director, you owe to all of us.
Shh, be still your foolish mouth. Nothing to be gleaned from watching one show with the fraudulent audience of an opening night. I went for a walk instead. I passed the Cathedral of the Holy Cross. I went in. Wildly spiritual. Those Catholics know how to put on a show. And then, right there, in the middle of Eucharist, I had an epiphany. At this stage in the life of a musical, one should refrain from inventing any brilliance, but instead eliminate all that which is god-awful. Now, I ask you all, without fear of contradiction, what was the most god-awful thing in our show?
Jessica?
Jessica, of course. Carmen. I came here to convince you to get rid of our leading lady, only to have the cast inform me that she's been placed in hospital. I believe the Lord must have had a hand in this.
Miss Bernstein, there's a phone call for you in your office.
Thanks, Jenny. It's probably my husband calling.
Where was Sydney tonight, Carmen?
Sydney's in New York, nailing a theater for us. And knowing my husband, also nailing a soprano who doesn't dance, but knows how to move.
Well, at least she can joke about it.
It's easy to joke about marriage when men like Sydney and you don't take it seriously.
There's no comparison. I never did more than flirt with any woman in any cast once you and I got married.
Barbara O'Brien?
She was an usher. And that was only after you moved out.
Oh, so you finally looked up from your music and noticed I was gone?
Jenny, you're the stage manager. How's the cast taking the reviews?
They decided to dress to the nines and throw a combination opening and closing night party.
Ah, defeatists! The lot of you! But you've yet to hear my plan. Hear it ye shall. Jenny, come, help me watch you move the piano.
What plan? Does he think we're going to go to Broadway using an understudy?
Well, at least we'd still have Bobby in the title role.
And that's what matters, right? I mean, the whole reason you teamed up with me again was so that you could rekindle a romance with our leading man.
Aaron, when I signed up for this show, I had no idea that Bobby was going to be in it.
Really? Then why at our very first rehearsal did you walk right up to him and say,
Hi, Bobby.
Hi, sweetie. Well, looks like we're all going to be heading back to New York a little sooner than we thought. But if you and I are going back together, this is one flop that's a big hit with me.
Eh bien, mes enfants, a brief demonstration of what's been wrong with this show from its very first love song.
You mean Thinking of Him? That's one of my best songs in the show.
One of our best songs?
See? Georgia agrees with me.
Nevertheless, I've had a problem with it since the very first rehearsal. Georgia, come, sing our leading lady's opening number, will you?
Which song is this?
The one with the new lyric Georgia wrote about me.
About Rob Hood.
Precisely. Aaron, play. Georgia, sing. Jenny, light Q5.
Hey guys, can you put her in like Q5?
Like Q5? This is silly. I haven't sung on stage in years.
Just sing.
Thinking of him, thinking of him. Sometimes it seems I spend every moment of my waking day thinking of him, making him laugh, sometimes making him strong, sometimes making him feel someplace in the light is his, telling him just how special he is, thinking of him, thinking of him, telling the truth when nobody's willing to tell him the truth, fighting for him, living for him, thinking it over, that's what I think I do. Well, isn't it time? Isn't it high time? I was thinking of me too.
Maybe it's time.
Maybe it's time. Maybe it's high time. You were thinking of you.
Thinking of me
Well done, Georgia.
Gee, I finally hear how that song was meant to go.
Listen, Chris, if you say something's been wrong with this song since our first rehearsal, you'll have to tell me what.
It's that we ever allowed Jessica Cranshaw to sing it. Now, look, people, I think it's a damn shame that our leading lady decided to collapse on us on opening night. She may have done it weeks ago and saved us a month of misery. Nevertheless, the cavity she's created must be appropriately filled.
May I speak? As Jessica's understudy, I'd feel terrible taking over under the circumstances, but...
No need to feel terrible, Nikki.
But...
No need to feel terrible because you're still going to be the understudy. To Georgia.
Georgia?
Dance in years.
I don't know, Chris.
You know the script and score better than anyone else here, and you sing the songs from your heart, because that's where they came from. Now, I realize it's been a long time since you've traded in your tap shoes for a rhyme
Excuse
dictionary,
me.
Bob.
But speaking for those of us in the chorus, I really feel that Nikki should get the role. She's talented and dedicated.
And since you're Nikki's understudy, if Nikki gets Jessica's role, then you will get Nikki's role.
Well, yes, that too, but...
Nice try, Bambi. But either Georgia is in, or I am out. What do you say to this, Ola?
Chris, I'll put my money where your mouth is.
Launder it first, please. Aaron, I'm sure this more than meets with your approval.
No. To be honest, it doesn't.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
I have my reasons.
You always have.
Besides, this entire debate is pointless if Jessica shows up tomorrow.
Oh, God help us. Her performance was worse than ever this evening.
Jessica Cranshaw will never be better than she was this evening.
But she was horrible.
I know. But she'll never be better. She's dead.
What?
That was the hospital on the phone. In terms of future performances, Jessica Cranshaw now has a conflict.
What happened?
They wouldn't tell me.
Chris, do you want to say something to the company about Jessica?
Shall we all observe a moment of silence for the late Miss Jessica Cranshaw to match the audience's response to her opening number?
Chris!
Oh, all right. People? Crowd around this, please. Now, company. Jessica was a part of our company, and now we part company. Though I'm sure you will all remember her in your thoughts and your resumes, as I will as well. And I know as thespians you would all like to display your sorrows for her loss as both a tribute and an acting exercise. Sasha, F sharp, minor.
Go tell her fans to change their plans. me, I'm Lieutenant Frank Chaffee of the Greater Boston Police. I'm assigned to the Homicide Division, and oh, it's such an honor to be standing in the same theater with each and every one of you. I'm very sorry if I interrupted a rehearsal, but let me assure you that I don't want my own work to delay your production from reaching the home on Broadway it genuinely deserves. I happened to see Robin Hood in previews, and might I say that, apart from the late Miss Cranshaw, you're all such wonderful performers.
Oh, it's thanks to you as
And
well.
what a great score. Well, I appreciate that, Lieutenant.
On behalf of my half of that compliment, thanks as well.
You're more than welcome. I happen to do a little community theater myself. No, nothing that fancy. Although, my Billy Bigelow in the Brooklyn Barnhouse did get a favorable review. And in A Midsummer Night's Dream, my Bottom was very well received.
Wait, one moment. You said you were with Homicide.
Well, yes. Based on a preliminary autopsy, it's clear that Jessica Cranshaw was murdered.
Well, what are they going to do with her killer, I wonder? I mean, shouldn't he get some sort of trophy, or at least a Pontiac convertible?
Chris!
I'm so sorry, it's a pure reflex.
She was killed by hydrocyanic acid, commonly used in electroplating and the gas chamber at San Quentin. It was in capsule form, which is why no one realized she'd been poisoned until the capsules had dissolved in her stomach, starting a chemical reaction which created her own personal gas chamber internally.
Horrible.
Working backwards from when they dissolved, we know she swallowed them during the very final minutes of this evening's performance.
Couldn't she have poisoned herself?
Trauma at the back of her throat suggests she didn't take these capsules voluntarily. Now, might I ask, who's in charge here, other than myself?
Permit me, Lieutenant. I am the critically acclaimed director, Christopher Belling. And I will be blocking your investigation.
I hope that's not the case. But if you do need a few minutes to wrap things up with your cast, go right ahead.
Company, I know you will all give Georgia your full support as she steps into the shoes of the late Miss Jessica Cranshaw.
Oh my God, that's brilliant!
As one would expect from me. Now, a raise of hands, all those ready to press forward with Robin Hood and Georgia in the lead. Raise your hand, please.
That's it? Oh, listen, people. Life is full of setbacks and disappointments. As my husband first demonstrated to me at the bridal suite in the Hotel Taft. But with Georgia taking over the lead, we've got a real shot. This show is going on. What do you say, gang? Are you with me?
You know, if we leave now, we can make the train back to New York. Carter?
What? Where are you going, Georgia?
No,
Come
please
on,
come
guys.
back, no!
Stop! It's clear that every one of you is in perfect physical condition, so the show must go on.
Why?
Because, as well as time itself, there's a grand theatrical tradition that the show must go on. Forget it. I've got a contract. You signed a contract. Go read your contract, and I will count to 10, and then I'll sue you. Oh yes, I'll sue you. And when I sue you, you'll never work again.
Who's the equity representative?
I am. Mrs.
Bernstein, as equity deputy, I must warn you, any further threats and you will be brought up on charges.
Oh, shut up, Elaine!
The name is Bambi. Mother.
All right! Let's put it this way. For the backer's sake, I'm asking your permission to let the show go on. The show must go on. The show must go on. 'Cause I say the show must go on. Horse shit!
I can't believe I'm hearing this. I won't believe it. Putting on a musical has got to be the most fulfilling thing a person could ever hope to do. You're all heroes to me. You're a special kind of people known as show people. You live in a world of your own. The audience paid plenty to sit there and clap, hearing you sing, watching you tap. Did you know your dentist wants to be in show business? Your window washer wants to be a star. And though your analyst may never couch it that way,
Analyst couch!
don't you know how lucky you are? Some policemen and detectives dream of show business. They can't get arrested, but still they sit around the station and fancy this life. They cheer Sherlock Holmes and cheer Mac the Knife.
Ask your cleaning lady, don't you dream of show business? Folk lives are stretched beside a bar.
Her affirmative shrug as she shampoos your rug lets you know how lucky you are. There's a special kind of aura around a show person.
Ask the next waiter you meet.
He walks in fifth position, his voice is just great.
He gives you the check, you give him a hand.
The boys in Valley Parking turn to show business. They can scalp a higher ticket for your car.
Lights we started now, started speaking out now. I'm now getting C-O-U.
Don't you know how lucky you are? Special kind of people known as show people. We live in a world of our own. Our days are tied to curtains, they rise and they fall. We're born every night at half-hour call.
Half-hour!
We can't picture being anything but show people. Civilians find the whole thing quite bizarre.
But that hop in our hearts when the overture starts helps us know how lucky we are.
Show people! Show people! Come on, everybody!
It's an honor and a joy to be in show business. I feel that spotlight hits me and I'm gone.
At the last curtain call, I'm the envy of all, so I know
The show must
Go on!
really show people.
And
So really show people. So really show people.
And listen, Robin Hood really should go on.
Lieutenant, may I speak with you for a moment? My name's Nikki.
Harris, Miss Nikki Harris. I read your bio several times through on the bus ride home the other night. May I say I found your performance particularly memorable. It was just lovely.
Well, thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you. You're very kind. Anyway, yesterday Miss Cranshaw asked me if I would help her with her lines, and of course I said I'd be glad to help.
That's so like you.
Yes, well, I'm also her understudy. But then these 3 letters fell out of her script. She didn't take them very seriously, but I kept them. I'm afraid my fingerprints are all over them. They're death threats. See, the letters and words have been copied onto the paper, cut with curved little finger scissors from a newspaper or a magazine, I would imagine.
You're murdering the score, but I'll murder you. You'll drop before the curtain does. If you don't quit, you'll die, legit.
Can you tell anything from them?
Well, they seem pretty negative in spirit.
Well, yes, of course.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were hoping for the Arthur Conan Doyle version. Unfortunately, these notes reveal very little, except that the person who sent them is a man in his early 30s, 6'4" in height, who served in the Merchant Marine, wears a pewter ring, and despite being right-handed, is known to his closest friends as Lefty.
What? However did you know that?
Oh, I didn't. I just made that stuff up. You probably hoped I'd be able to tell, but I mean, wow. If I could do that just from wow.
Gee, for a second there, I was impressed. As I once told my husband at the Hotel Taft. Well, what do you say we all go across the street and have ourselves one slobber knocker of a wake for the late, if less than great, Jessica Cranshaw. Drinks are on me.
That's just what I need. I like her better now, you know? Yes.
Just a minute! This theater's under lockdown. All of the exits are guarded, and none of you can leave.
Why?
What? Hey, this isn't fair!
I'm sorry. Until further notice, the entire cast and crew will be living right here. Emergency services will bring in cots and meals.
Wait a second. The talented members of this cast are entitled to a day off.
The talented member isn't even you, Elaine.
Listen, tell me if I'm wrong, but to the best of my recollection, Jessica Cranshaw never left the stage during the final 10 minutes of her performance. If so, then I'm very sorry, but she had to have been murdered by one of you. I've never had a case with this many suspects before, and I can't have all of you followed around the clock. No, better I keep you all under lock and key right here until I solve this crime.
You're taking the law into your own hands, Choppy.
Well, I mean, that's sort of what I'm paid to do. I mean, that's why I got a gun, my badge. Anyways, being sequestered here will let you focus on fixing the show.
Fixing? You keep your goddamn hands off me, do you hear?
Who's that?
Sounds like it's my husband. On his best behavior.
I guess he left New York.
Lucky New York.
Well, isn't this just peachy keen? You all waited up for me. Jenny, I'm still wearing my coat.
Sorry, Mr. Bernstein.
Sydney, it's been a god-awful night.
Oh, I hear you, Chris.
And I'm turning in my resignation.
I can't hear you, Chris. How you holding up, Olive?
Oh, can't complain.
That's right, you can't.
Welcome back to Boston City.
Well, hello.
It's me, your stepdaughter.
Oh, sorry about that. Fawn.
It's Bambi.
And last but not least, Mrs. B, my junior partner and lesser half.
All right, let's get this over with, Sydney.
What, you expect me to be upset? I leave you in charge of opening night and return to find a murdered leading lady, deadly reviews, and a bunch of cops who tell me I can't leave this theater.
That's right. I'm afraid you've arrived at just the wrong time for you, and just the right time for me, Mr. Bernstein.
Excuse me?
Lieutenant Frank Chaffee. Now, listen, folks. You should all go about your various tasks as if this weren't the scene of a homicide. Detective McNichol's waiting downstairs for your pertinent information. I'd like you to give him your name, address, and 8x10 glossy. and I'll be speaking with all of you in the morning. Pleasant dreams, everyone.
Hey guys, can you close the main curtain? Thanks.
Lieutenant, I can't be a suspect. I was in Manhattan when Jessica got murdered.
Can you prove that?
Well, it so happens I was keeping company with a young actress I happen to be keeping on Sutton Place. If I give you her name, it could ruin her reputation.
Your chivalry is touchingly convenient.
Lieutenant, I have many influential friends in New York City.
Too bad you're in Boston.
What the hell?
And will you be wanting me any further, Lieutenant?
No, but I do have a couple questions for your boyfriend.
I don't have a boyfriend.
Oh, my God. Actually, Miss Harris, I'd like to take you into my confidence regarding this investigation.
And why is that, Lieutenant?
Well, because if I don't, there's really no reason for us to keep talking.
Then take me into your confidence with confidence, Lieutenant.
Something's wrong here. I just met an opening night cast that seemed all too eager to close.
Well, I can understand how they might feel. They all give up wonderful jobs and hit Broadway productions to work up here in Boston. I've never performed outside this city, and Bambi's had to fight her mother at every step just to be in the chorus. But the rest of the cast are underpaid and overworked, but surely not enough to drive any of them to murder.
Keep in mind, I'm within an arm's reach any hour of the day or night.
You think I'm in some danger?
No. That was a completely unrelated thought.
You live with danger on a daily basis, don't you, Lieutenant?
Well, most of the time it's just paperwork and procedure. Detectives have no opening night, Miss Harris. We make our entrance when the curtain closes on someone else's life.
But it's a calling, isn't it? Like a doctor or a teacher?
Or an actor.
I suppose you're right. I couldn't imagine doing anything else with my life. It's not wrong to be married to one's work, is it?
No, not at all. But sometimes it's no honeymoon. I love my job, I really do. And if I say so myself, I'm good at it too. I catch the bad guys, well, most of the time. So it's a good life, a perfectly good life. Not exactly sublime. When I've finished my work and I crawl into bed, I reflect as I turn out the lights that the day that's to come and the week that's ahead will be lunch counter mornings and coffee shop nights. Lunch counter mornings and coffee shop nights.
But it's reassuring to have such a dependable schedule, like matinees every Wednesday.
Or brisket and broad beans every Thursday.
With your friends.
I like my pals, the guys on the force. We're not very social. They're all married, of course. Sometimes we go bowling or have a few beers. So it's a fine life, a perfectly fine life. I'd give it 2 cheers. 'Cause sometimes I think at the end of the day, when I've read The Last Burglar, his rights, that the life that I lead is a little bit gray, with its lunch counter mornings and coffee shop nights. Lunch counter mornings and coffee shop nights.
But your acting roles, don't they make for a change?
Oh, Miss Harris, each year from May 23rd to the 12th of June, when I turn my life over to the Swallow Street Players, that's more than a vacation for me. It's an overture of hope, the curtains rising on the greatest joy in my life. But the rest of the year, the life that I lead is a little bit gray. There are plenty of low days and not many heights. Mostly lunch counter mornings and coffee shop nights. I don't mean to seem forward, but might I walk you home?
Oh, I'd be delighted, but you said we're not allowed to leave.
Damn.
Please pay attention. Now, do you remember the dance break from that away?
I think so.
Okay, I'll show you one more time. Left, right, step, flex foot, and out. Drag, cross, drag, cross, drag, cross, drag, cross. Step, cross, step, cross, step, cross, step, cross. Left behind, right behind. Got it?
Yeah.
Let's try with music. Aaron, please. 5, 6, 7, 8. Left, right, step, flex foot, and out. Drag, cross. Now stay on top of the counts. Step, clap, step, clap, step, clap, step. Left behind, right behind.
Aha! Sorry, you're all being very patient, but I can't do this.
Honey, I've seen you do this.
In a previous lifetime.
Would somebody like me to try?
I promise they'll adore you as much as I do. And you're looking just great.
I can go from a grand jeté right into a split. Impossible, I know, but somehow I do it.
If one of you is the killer, would you please take her next?
Folks, Detective O'Farrell is here with the last delivery of clothes from your hotel rooms. Leave your bundle downstairs, and in 1/2 hour, Lieutenant Tommy will begin questioning altos and tenors.
Ah, Lieutenant, rising from your interrogation chambers, no doubt, to grace us with your presence.
I've been stuck in the green room all day.
At least you got to sleep in your own bed last night.
Sorry about that.
I intrigue you, don't I, Lieutenant?
Yes, Mr. Belling is both a director and a suspect.
Lieutenant, I got what you wanted.
Ah, thank God. And, did you get the clothes for Nikki Harris I asked for?
Yes, the blues and greens, just like you asked. Are you setting some sort of a trap for her?
No. I'm trying to match her eyes.
Heads up, Planet Ark rolling through!
Excuse me, Lieutenant Frank Chaffee. Mind telling me how you got in here?
Oh, as a member of the press, I'm exempt from your quarantine, Lieutenant. Donald Grady, of the Boston Globe.
After the review you gave Robin Hood, I can't imagine why you'd show your face here of all places.
I'm as mystified as you are. The show's producers call and ask for candidates.
That's right. Carmen Bernstein, Miss Grady. You have our thanks for coming by, if not for your review.
Listen, I tried my level best to say something good about your production. I praised the choreography and that young woman who played the schoolmarm, Nikki.
Harris.
Yes, well, I'm afraid it's all history now. My condolences on the loss of your star and your show.
Grady, when you interviewed me last week, I told you, we're going to Broadway. I don't care what you wrote about us.
We're keeping Robin Hood open, and once we've worked out the kinks, we're asking you to review it again, with Georgia Hendricks in the lead.
Georgia Hendricks? Your lyricist? She hasn't been in a show in years. That's some news. And yes, there's something to say about re-reviewing a show with a new lead. I'll tell you what, I'll re-review your show. Tomorrow night!
Tomorrow?
I'm afraid that's the best I can do. I'm trying to remember, how many shows can withstand 2 bad reviews from the Globe?
Carmen, go tell the cast we've got 24 hours to hold a week of rehearsals. If we fail, you'll live to regret it.
Sydney! I guess the reason you're such a lowlife is because they built you so close to the ground.
Oh, good day, Lieutenant.
You've made it one, Miss Harris.
That dress goes very nicely with your eyes, Nikki.
Thank you.
And Miss Starlet Grady. Am I allowed to offer my thanks for the kind words you wrote?
Please don't misunderstand, Miss Harris, but I try not to fraternize with the artists that I review. However, I will say that you stood out in what was an otherwise abundantly misguided production.
Miss Grady, I found your review of Robin Hood needlessly cruel and way off the mark.
Well, I'm not sure you know how to judge acting.
Of course, you're the expert. However, I regret to inform you that I'm now placing you under arrest.
What do you think you're doing?
Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law.
This is insane. What in God's name are you saying?
I'm saying my best lines from Agatha Christie's Murder at the Vicarage. I played Chief Inspector Slack for the Natick Town Players 2 summers ago. Oh, did you think I was saying that for real? Gosh, I'm not sure you know how to judge acting, Ms. Grady. You can go now.
Come on, Grady, I'll walk you to the door.
Swell acting, Lieutenant, and not just on a community theater level. I mean college.
Oh, well, thank you.
And how is your investigation coming along, if I may ask?
Well, you know, I've been going over the show's financial records, and you were right. Everybody's getting the same equity minimum. Not just newcomers like you and Bambi, but your stars as well. Look, this is no place to talk. Let's, you and me, get out of here for a little while.
You said we're not allowed to leave.
Damn.
Chris, you have to.
Clear the stage, Lieutenant! I've just been informed I have less time to reinvent this show than Moses had to cross the Red Sea.
And he had God on his side.
Hey! Is this true?
I'm getting reviewed tomorrow?
Mickey, go fetch Bambi. I have no choice but to
Block in the same boat, here and now.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch this.
Why? You think something's gonna happen?
No, I just really like this number. Although...
What?
Oh, it's nothing, but...
What?
I can't believe I'm saying this, and shoot me with my own gun if I'm out of line.
What is it?
I don't think simply changing the choreography is gonna help. I mean, the song itself is kind of lackluster. It lacks...
Yes?
luster. 3 women on the Arkansas River, on a rowboat that's sinking fast, trying to get to the federal courthouse in Wichita before the farmers lose their land. Great stuff. It's your 11 o'clock number. But the song itself, could we hear a bit of it?
Sasha, ladies, sing for Lieutenant, would you? Here you go, Chaffee, just for you.
In the same boat, on the same sea, shaken inside as the tide keeps rising. Nary a ship, nary a sail, nary a soul on the whole horizon. Still we are not discouraged. Due to the ancient quote that you're likely to win, take it all on the chin when you're in the same boat.
You see what I mean? For such a big moment in the show, it's sort of mild-mannered.
Strangely enough, I agree. Aaron, we need a completely new composition, one that's catchier than Pink Eye.
Oh, you want a hit?
Yes, and not something from one of your failed shows. Please, Aaron, none of your Eine kleine trunk music.
Listen, Chris, if you expect me to come up with anything, you're gonna have to give me some private time alone with my piano and my writing partner.
Your writing partner is now my dancing partner, and the star of this show. If she doesn't get her saloon number under her belt tonight, we're all finished.
Oh, yes, and I need to see that very same number in full dress regalia. Jenny, tell the cast to get changed for the Act 1 finale at the final bars when they're in the bar at the Barbie Bar Saloon.
Say again.
I can't say that again.
Listen, everybody. Mr. Belling's rehearsal takes priority. So anyone who needs to change costumes, go right ahead. The rest of you, please proceed to the green room where Detective O'Farrell will be fingerprinting the entire cast.
This is valuable time.
That is, unless one of you would be so kind as to explain why you committed murder. So let's clear the stage and give our composer the solitude he needs. That should buy you a few minutes alone with your piano, Mr. Fox.
Alone? Yeah.
It must be hard, writing when your partner is...
otherwise engaged?
Could I ask, only because I've wondered my entire life, what comes first, the music or the lyric?
Same answer as the chicken or the egg.
So it's the lyric.
No. A great melody doesn't always need a lyric. Or a lyricist.
Then how do you start?
Well, it can start with a note, which can become a phrase. And you begin hanging words off of each branch, like trimming a tree.
Sounds easy enough.
Really? Well, don't talk about love. Or you'll have to say, fits like a glove. Or as certain as push comes to shove.
Slow down there.
You will pine for the woman you're constantly thinking of. You see the problem?
Dangling participle. Okay, so you suggest staying away from love?
At all cost. And don't mention your life. Or you'll have to say, cuts like a knife. Or refer to the heartbreak and strife. When you find that you're missing your...
Missing?
What?
You were saying what you missed.
Oh, I just meant that I, well... I miss the music, I miss the song. Since she's not with me, it comes out wrong. It doesn't matter how hard I try, I've lost the music, I don't know why. May have known before I met her I rode alone. But if you ask me what I prefer, I'd say the music I wrote with her. When you're writing a song and you've a partner, the room is filled with jokes and chatter. She says something, you say something, she writes a line, you play a vamp. But when you're writing a song without a partner, that's a completely different matter. No one tells you that's not funny. No one says let's cut that long. No one makes you better than you are. I can't pretend I miss the music, I miss my friend. No need to ask me what I prefer. I choose the music I wrote with her. I liked the music I made with...
Aaron? Oh, I'm sorry, am I interrupting?
No, I'm afraid I'm the guilty party there. But thank you very much for all of your insights, Mr. Fox. We'll speak later. And Miss Hendricks, best of luck in your upcoming number.
I forgot my lyric. Can you believe it? Me.
You're not the lyricist anymore. You're the star. How does it feel being back on the boards?
Terrifying. Thrilling. I've really missed the stage.
Come on, Angel, we've got to do that right away.
Must we?
It's our last chance to land the number before we pack it in for the night. Come on, honey.
Oh, Aaron. I'm thinking you were right when you said I was wrong for this.
Georgia, break a leg.
Thanks. You can finish the song without me?
I'm a one-man band. I miss the music. I miss my friend. No need to wonder what I prefer. I miss the music
can, boys. I've got my sights set on Rob Hood.
But Rob Hood just left these parts with Miss Nancy, the new schoolma'am.
Alan Odell. Ain't it funny how a cowardly lawman from back east knows so much about the man I plan to brand? I'm gonna round up that Rob Hood and hog tie his fancy Miss Nancy. He made a getaway. He left me flat away. At times like this, a modern myth should gallop that away. When love goes this away, don't blow your bliss away. You might find out it's just about a hug and kiss away. No matter which way he takes that bitch away, I won't relent till he'll consent to make a switch away. If he's in Santa Fe or in Piscataway, I'll pack my gown and leave this town and travel that way. I've known a man too, a score or more is true, and if he stays or if he strays depends on my lesson. It ain't just how you woo, but how you proceed to pursue. If you move this way, and shake it that way, there's every chance he'll see you dance and holler at away. Then if you flip away, rotate your hip away. Just wait and see, I guarantee your man won't slip away. If you're the mate for him, don't sit and wait for him. It's up to you, but if you do, you'll be too late for him. If there's a spat away, don't throw his hat away. Forget that fight and hold him tight till he gets that way.
What's that music? What's that dance? What's that stirring in my pants? Did you see that
job, Georgia. Everybody.
Great job.
Wow. With Georgia now, it's dynamic and uplifting, leaving the audience champing at the bit for Act 2. And this scene. Who doesn't love Red?
Yes, very good. Now, while you're all in this position, I need to set the poses for the act.
Sorry, but if I may, I've had a chance to speak with all of you, and you seem to be a terrific bunch of people. But I'm afraid this briefcase contains some very compromising evidence I've turned up about one of you. Now, I don't want to point fingers, but I have some additional questions for the person
Lieutenant,
here.
an urgent call from headquarters.
Shoot. Mr. Belling, just continue with what you were doing.
Yes, so, as I was saying, I would like to set our positions for the Act 1 curtain, so if you all just...
As I thought. Looks like everybody but Nikki has something to hide. As you were. There's nothing in the briefcase, by the way. Except a container of chowder from the Union Oyster House.
Is it Manhattan?
Yep. Here you go. So, I've spoken with all of you and made a few phone calls, and what do I come up with? A murdered leading lady, working for a fraction of her usual firm's salary. A distinguished director who despised the late Miss Cranshaw, and yet slaves to make this show work all the same. A dancer choreographer who turned down the chance to work with Balanchine to do a song and dance for spare change. Ex-partners in marriage and music, who inexplicably reunite, though they no longer work in harmony. A one-woman bank named Olive Shapiro, who, despite having no prior interest in the theater, sinks one payment after another into this musical. And a cast who's been blackmailed by Sidney Bernstein. Obviously, because you've all been looking forward to taking other shows on Broadway, celebrating when this show was torn to ribbons by critics. Even you dancers.
Okay, so when I was first starting out, I gave Sid Bernstein a private audition that I hoped would stay private.
Lieutenant, I have to think everybody has something about themselves they'd like to keep to themselves.
I agree. I'm not here to uncover all of your dark secrets. Just the one that caused somebody to murder Jessica Cranshaw.
People, I had no idea this was how Sidney got you all working so cheap. He's the one who handles the negotiations. I'm sorry.
Well, he won't be able to deal his way out of breaking the law. Folks, you won't be blackmailed anymore! Oh, finally. But you're all still suspects. Now get back to work. You may have joined this show for the wrong reasons, but you're gonna press on because you've got a contract.
Damn straight.
And because Olive deserves a return on her investment.
Thank you.
And because the best way for me to solve this murder is to keep the heat turned up in this pressure cooker of a theater. And last of all, because this could be a really good show. Take it away, Chris.
Thank you. Very good. Now,
Company. For striking the set!
What? No, I need to fix this position thing, Jet. Idiot.
Sorry!
never mind. Final 4 bars, Bobby.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I'm heading that way.
Why is there no curtain?
We're having a little trouble with it!
I want it closed now!
All right, how's that?
Did
Did you notice anything go up as the curtain closed?
Oh my God! Open the curtain, quick!
Curtain!
Jenny, don't close the curtain!
Open the curtain!
I think we fixed the curtain! Oh my God! It's Sydney!
I think we better make it a blackout.